Good afternoon and welcome to another edition of the Entrepreneur's Gambit, brought to you by Game in association with Your Story. Game, as you're aware, uh, is a platform that energizes the ecosystem to support entrepreneurs like the guests we have to scale, to grow, to create more jobs, and to make the nation proud. So, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Delighted to have you with us.
Thank you.
And delighted to have you as our part of the first cohort, Dr. Vasudha, Rohini, and Shruti. The next 45 minutes, we will discuss about your entrepreneurial journeys, what triggered you to become entrepreneurs, life pre-COVID, post-COVID, especially from a finance, cash angle, and your learnings in the program over the last few months. And look forward to a lot of learning nuggets from each of you for our audience out there. And I hope you will inspire several out there who are sitting on the fence saying, should I not? And I'm sure this conversation should nudge them over on this side of the fence and say, come be an entrepreneur, right? So with that, Shruti, why don't we start with you? And if you can just introduce yourself, the venture that you run, and what was the trigger for you to be an entrepreneur? I'm always fascinated by that question, right? When did you wake up one day and say, hey, from tomorrow I'm an entrepreneur or something like that? So yeah, let's just jump in.
Thank you, Madan. My name is Shruti. So I started currently my business is we are into ice creams and popsicles.
Mm-hmm.
So we have popsicle bars and we use the finest ingredients from across the globe to make our popsicles. It's in a very happy business space, you cannot see a consumer have a popsicle and not be happy. And I think that's a big motivator for us.
Okay.
When it came to starting our business, I think as a child, I would sit in my dad's factory,
Mm-hmm.
and he was into a very technical side in terms of he used to make engine monitoring systems for the railways and all. And he would always say, you have to do engineering and you have to come and sit in the factory and you have to take it. It's just like that whole thing that, the elder daughter goes into medicine, the younger one
Must be
becomes
an
an
engineer.
engineer
Yes.
and takes over the business. And he was doing very, very well for himself. And while I was in school in class 7, 8, I would go to his office, sit and study there so that he could keep a tab on me studying actually. And I would sit and dream on his chair saying that, I'm going to be sitting on this chair. I'll have people working all around and this is my place, okay? And I would never visualize what I was doing, but I was sitting on the chair for sure. That was, I think, the first thing that I had to be an entrepreneur. I think it was somewhere deep down engraved. Unfortunately, he passed when I was in class 10. And we had to sell off his business because it was extremely a technical business.
Okay.
And my mom was a homemaker. My sister had just got into medicine. And I was in class 10, so there was no way we could handle a business like that. And all our relatives were back in Lucknow. So there was nobody here. It was just 3 of us. And the whole deal of selling that business was extremely painful for me. There were multiple levels of pain,
Sure.
right? One was about losing your father, the other thing about everything what you dreamt of also had gone.
It's gone, yeah.
It went like this. And then I said, okay, I'm not going to pursue engineering because I do not really like it. And I just went and did my business management, studied, got into a job, and I worked with Future Group. So they're the CEO now of the lifestyle division. He was my boss, so I would report to him, and I would love working. I just enjoyed working, and I think he also got me a lot into getting into thinking how do you look at business, and he gave us a lot of free hand. So I think
and Future Group itself was a very entrepreneurial.
It's there. Even the sales staff is very is the CEO of the company.
Correct.
It's just that, and I think that gave me a lot of confidence moving forward. I went after Future Group. I did a stint with Titan. I came back to Future Group and I was like, I need to start something on my own. But I did not know what the product is going to be. How is it that I'm going to go about it? And I think one of our vacations in North America, we had these amazing ice creams. I'm like, you don't get stuff like this back home. Back home, what you get is very different. I'm like, this is the space that we want to get into.
Wow.
Let's get this quality of stuff back home. And then the format evolved, and that's how the whole thing happened. So it was, I think, visualization coming true. When I was very young, but I did not
Inner
know
journey.
how, and it's going to come through. But yeah, that's where I've landed.
Fascinating. Wonderful. And from the time you said, oh, we should have something like this back home,
Yeah.
to when you really got started, how long did that take?
Actually, not too long.
Yeah?
Yeah. So we got all the machinery. First run of we didn't know anything about ice creams. I'm from marketing background, zero experience in food. And when we got we got all the machinery first. We got all the small batches of everything, and we started churning out ice cream. Started learning. So started doing some courses about it, learning what the product is about, and what is the differentiator that they use versus what you get
Exactly.
here. What is commercial? What is artisanal? And I think within a matter of a year and a half, which that time seemed too long to figure out, we started. And when we opened our first store, I didn't even know. I had no business plan. I had nothing that I could show. So my first store was again in Future Group itself.
Okay.
So it was home ground for me.
Yeah.
So I would go and I tell them I want to open an popsicle bar, and they're like, okay, what is the presentation? I like, kuch nahi hai. So they said, okay, go ahead. They just knew where I came from, and they said, okay, do it. And we started from ordering the counters to setting up the store design, the logo, the name. We just pulled it off in say about 2 weeks.
Fantastic.
And when we did our puja, before we could open the store, we just removed the curtains, and we had a queue of people lining up, wanting to buy, and that was like
wonderful. Wow.
So,
Well, there's some very interesting learnings from the story, right? That the seed, you don't know where the seed is planted.
Correct.
In your case.
Yes.
And in my case too, I was thinking of the same thing. I used to sit in my dad's office when he was running a travel agency, and thinking that someday I'll be running my own business.
Correct.
But you never know which format it'll take.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Terrific. Let's get to you, Rohini. How did your journey begin, and why don't you start off by telling us what you do?
Hi, I'm Rohini. Mine is completely different from hers.
Okay.
Actually, though my father is an advocate by profession, and we are from basically agricultural family. So when I had moved from a small town from Tamil Nadu to Bangalore, the place itself was little scared for me, and the language was different, no exposure, what could I say? No business knowledge, nothing is in my head. I was thinking I'll take up a job segment, go to job, work, earn and live. But when I had moved to Bangalore, my husband was saying, why don't we become an entrepreneur? So he was also from a basic, he was into communication company, but he wanted to come out of it and started the business. But we don't have any support morally, financially, and no idea about the business, but we wanted to do that. Then what he was telling, I'll be going to job. By the time you explore something, we'll start some business. And then he was quoting many examples of women entrepreneurs and some entrepreneurs who are all very big now. And then, so at that age, it seems to be, that idea seems to be very interesting and fancy also. I also accepted. That made the view change. And then I explored many businesses.
Okay.
Both of us had explored, and he also got multiple times failed, and I got multiple times failed, and even honestly speaking, I do not know what is account pay check like.
Wow.
Then by somehow, and he was into telecom business, and he was running in very good way, and then that time he was a franchisee of BSNL, and it was exempted from tax, and he was making very good amount of money, and BSNL was the only service provided by the time. During 1998. So he was making good amount of turnover in the first month itself, about 50 lakhs. So he wanted me to be in the part of it. I was also supporting, but when my son born, when I was taking rest, I had seen somebody walking with the paper bags.
Okay.
So I thought, simply I'm sitting at home, why don't I try with that? So I had gone, asked them, take the bag, then opened it with the chart paper and newspaper. I tried by trial and error method. Somehow it has come out well. So I was telling my husband, I just go, I have done this bag, I wanted to do the marketing, and he said manufacturing is a very big task and it is not our cup of tea. Why don't you do all these things? Anyhow, I have an office, I have got a franchise of BSNL with 3 areas, we are doing wonderfully good one, why you wanted to do this? But still, I wanted to do paper bags, I do not know why, what is the trigger for that? But moreover, what he was actually demotivating me to go into the paper bags. but that becomes my motivation. And then I started in a very small way, in a small room with one house help,
Wow.
with 8-month-old kid.
Wow.
Manufacturing itself is new, marketing is new,
Amazing.
sale, everything was new to me.
Uh,
But I tried, and then I had approached one small optical shop near my house, and then I was telling him, can I give you at least 100 bags? You just try it out. And he was okay with that, and then he took 100 bags. That took 15 days for me to make
Make it.
100 bags because I was only doing.
right.
Then like that it started.
Wow.
And now I was doing 4 lakh bags per month manually.
Wow.
And then my husband also now got
Wow.
into that, and now we are.
So you pulled him in. So you're now his boss.
No, I'm seeing that he had just come with me.
Excellent. Yeah.
And now we are completely changed our process into automation and focusing on corporate.
So how many bags do you do on a monthly basis?
About 4 to 4.5 lakh
5
bags.
lakhs.
I was
Wow.
doing, but due to COVID,
COVID.
it has come down and then
Wow.
it started.
From just struggling to do 100 bags in a,
Yeah,
in a
yeah.
fortnight to 4.5 lakhs a bag.
And that too, not from the business background.
Fantastic.
And people are also demotivating. Since you have made engineering degree, why are you going into
Yeah.
you go for a job, yeah, and then aram se you settle. And it was the thing my family was still supporting me.
Wonderful. So they're all now mouth shut and saying, wow, you're doing a fantastic job. But,
But
this
no
very
regrets.
inspiring. Fantastic. Oh, what a story. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Vasudha, let's hear
Yeah.
your journey and what you do.
Yeah. So I'm Dr. Vasudha Sharma. I'm the co-founder and medical director of Vivekananda Health Global presently. So, for me, the dream of becoming a doctor was always there. So when I was in class 7 or 8 itself, I knew that if I have to do something, then it's medicine. There's nothing beyond it because I had a lot of passion in the subject. And even during the 12th, just then we had shifted to Bangalore. So my parents were keen that I definitely give CET and then attempt engineering and medicine. I got good ranking in the engineering category, but never went for any interviews. So it was direct medicine. But then since I couldn't get a seat in Bangalore, we opted to choose Ayurveda, and that's how I became an Ayurveda graduate with a degree of BAMS. Then. Of course, for anybody, doctor, first thing is you do your clinical practice. I wanted to do my master's, but then I wanted to take a break because I wanted to really improve on the expertise to become a good clinician. So maybe 3 years, a lot of this happened. And then I got an opportunity to work with Hindustan Unilever's Ayush Therapy Center. So I was the first doctor at the Jayanagar Ayush.
Wow.
And that's where I think there was a different twist to the whole story. And at the same time, I also did my master's in yogic sciences from SVASA. And then in HUL, I really learned a lot of structured, understanding of be it how you run a business entity, be it a lot of other learnings which are needed, for day-to-day practical affairs. And then, since I was quite impressed, and I was also proposing, why don't you have your own center? Because I always had that in me that I would like to be, independent, and I would not like to work with somebody and probably answering somebody, but sit on the other side, where I also can question many more people. So that was the driving force, and I got good support from my husband because he's also into similar field, especially in yoga research.
Okay.
So we said, yes, I think we should go for it. But the first thing was, okay, how do we now pull in money? Because we needed a minimum investment of about 13 to 15 lakhs way back 15 years ago.
To set up a center.
So, but we finally did it with bank's support. We could get a loan because one of my uncle introduced us to a good bank manager who understood what we could do, etc. And that's how we set up the first franchisee unit of Hindustan Unilever's Ayush Therapy at HSR Layout. And that's where my entrepreneurial journey began. And it went up very well. I think I should thank HUL for that because the way they presented it, I think we had no issues and we achieved good operational break-even very quickly. So 5 years down the lane, that company wanted to wind it up. But I was a professional and, by then I'd explored the avenues of integrating Ayurveda yoga into patient care and then came in naturopathy as well because my husband comes with that background. There's a lot of discussions. It helped me evolve. Later with the PhD, I think it added on a lot of value into the core requirement into academics. And slowly came in Vivekananda Health Global because we already had everything in place.
Correct.
And this is a brand which went into expansion mode where we now have 2 centers in Bangalore and a couple of centers in India and 2 centers abroad in New York and Seoul, Korea. So that's where we are, and therefore we practice evidence-based integrative medicine using Ayurveda, yoga and naturopathy.
Wonderful. Wow, what a story. No, it's really interesting that, well, each of your stories seem very different, right? For you, it was starting off as a professional, then saying that I'm expanding my professional journey
Correct.
into something, and then peeling the layers of the onion and saying, now I'll do something more. And,
True.
you know, to run centers in New York and Seoul is, you know, looks like such an achievement, right? Whereas you, Rohini, you tried multiple businesses, somehow latched on to a thought of paper bags, and you scaled up that significantly. And Shruti, yours, from marketing to ice cream, the only thing that I was able to connect is in marketing you scream a lot, and that's the only common dot I'm able to see. But what is common across each of you is your fierce antarprerana. I always keep saying that it is not entrepreneur, it's actually, it begins with antarprerana, that there was some inner force. It could be, as you said, I wanted to do it to prove my husband wrong, right? Or that inner motivation that came from sitting in your dad's chair and saying, you know what, I got to do it myself because he would have wished to see you like this.
Absolutely.
100%, right? I'm sure he's somewhere there beaming with pride
Sure.
with what you've done, right? And Vasudha, for you, it was progressing on a professional journey,
Yes.
right? And that passion that, yes, I want to do something in medical, but do something on my own. I think it all begins from there, right? You can take a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. So there's no point in telling everybody, oh, become an entrepreneur, unless and until it comes from within.
Yes.
True.
And I think that's a very powerful thing. The other lesson that I'm taking away is that you can never predict what the journey will be,
Yes.
right? It is an evolving journey,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? I'm sure 3 years down the line, there'll be something else so dramatically different happening in each of our lives
True.
that we will look back and say, hey, I was a fool to kind of do this, right? So one of my mentors is a person called Dr. Saras Saraswati, who's probably the foremost researcher of entrepreneurial thinking in the world. And one of the things she says is that one of the things that good entrepreneurs never do is to try and predict the future. Because the future per se is unpredictable. Right? You only co-create the future. Right? And that's a very powerful thought, because what we are doing, what you are all doing, is co-creating the future.
Yeah.
Right?
Also very important, what I feel is, as entrepreneurs, we have to live in the present.
Exactly.
And we'll have to fight out and make, pave way for ourselves.
Exactly.
Thinking about the future is not going to help us.
Yeah.
Maybe we get more anxious about it.
Exactly. But you keep building one brick
Yes.
after another,
Yes, yes.
and let that evolve,
Yes.
driven by your fierce passion.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right? Terrific. So let's talk about how's life been the last 1 year, right? Especially COVID. Each of your businesses are different. And I want to focus a little bit more on how did you manage cash flows? Did the business model itself change? Right? So some reflections on the business side of things.
Okay.
Right?
So Pop-Hop primarily was in the space of going direct. It was in the space of impulse as a category. So we were present in malls.
Malls.
So there were walk-ins, and we did not have to do too much. You had to have a nicely visual. We invested a lot of time in terms of how visually we were attractive. And it was a business that was going on its own because the product was good, visually it was attractive, and it worked. So cash flow was never a problem for us pre-COVID because for us we got credit from our buyers, but the customer was paying upfront. So there was never cash flow where we really had an issue.
Yes.
For expansions, a lot of times the stores itself would help us expand it,
Okay.
right? So we were making enough money to open new stores, and a little bit we were also funding from our bit. So COVID, when suddenly with the whole sudden lockdowns coming in and restrictions with, so we had to shut all our stores. All stores were in malls, so it was closed longer than going. And then that's when we had enough stock because we had prepped for a bumper summer.
Wow.
In the month of March.
Yeah.
We were also planning to open 3 more stores in malls. One of the best malls in Bangalore. In fact, we were likely to open there. And we were at a stage, we have enough stock, stores are shut, zero revenue.
Wow.
And in May, when we opened up, we said, okay, how are we going to even liquidate the stock? Stores are shut, let's see. And I think one of very sane pieces of advice a mentor gave me was, go every day to office at 9 o'clock in the morning, get ready, go, sit. Business will come.
Something will, wow.
Something will work out. Just go. I think that was great positive positive motivation for me. And we started just contacting friends and family to say, okay, you know what, we are bundling up some popsicles, it's really hot, would you like some? And they ordered, they told their friends about it, they posted it in their apartment groups, and suddenly by June 15th, we were done with our stores.
Wow.
Very quick. And then we said, oh, this is an excellent model. The other thing parallelly we drew immediately was we withdrew all our stores because we knew as a company we are very small too.
Correct.
And we kind of, some of our mentors also helped us. They said, this is going to take time. Cut your losses as much as you can.
Yeah.
So we withdrew all our stores, and now we cut down our team size and we cut down all our expenses. Okay, so we worked with a very small team. We were doing direct to consumer, and then we realized this is a very, very profitable and a great model because you're communicating directly with the consumer.
Yes.
So there's more stickiness towards your thing. So now we did this we experimented. We thought it may be only a summer phenomena. What happens in the monsoons? What happens in the winters? But somewhere it just went on. It was yet growing. Yes, we saw some dips. Then we said, okay, we need to introduce more products in this space, which are non-ice cream. So we did all that. So a year has gone into understanding how this model can work. Where are you able to fit in with the consumer? What is it that they are looking at with you? And now we are launching our website, and the whole model now we are working is going direct to consumers. The previous what we have done is engaging with the consumer, but we've not had a platform where they can directly order, right? Right now it's very small via WhatsApp and all. So now we are looking at scaling it up to say 100 orders a day. That's what we are going to start working towards, and our website should be up and running this week. So pop-up will be
fantastic.
Available across Bangalore delivery.
Fantastic.
Geographically, you're not limited anymore.
Yeah. No, it's been a tectonic shift.
Absolutely.
For you, right?
Absolutely.
From running stores to going directly to consumers and wow.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Rohini, how's it been for you?
Yeah, it was very difficult for me because I was also into corporate, all the malls were closed.
Yeah.
And since I was applying for corporates, there was no offtake in their products.
Yeah.
So it affects my business also. But as she was telling, I was also holding lots of stocks of almost more than, I could say the figure would be about 20 lakhs. And I don't want to close my office. Somehow I have procured some paper with different sizes and I wanted to retain my staffs, but I shut down my machine. Machine was not running for almost 4 or 5 months.
Okay.
Then somehow I have retained them by giving some papers. I told them whatever the size you could do, you could do. You come at 9 o'clock, go at 5 o'clock, but I wanted to open the office. I will not be able to. I'm not having an idea of closing it. But we managed like that, and August, September, little it was relaxed, and the goods was liquidated in a very slow way, and now it is picking up. And the financial part, it was a big hitch for us. Since the bankers were helping with the overdraft limit and moratorium, all these things, we were surviving. And now it's picking up.
Wow.
That's how we managed this COVID time.
And do you have good support from the bankers?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even I was not giving the stock statement every month, but manager was telling, don't worry for this year.
Excellent.
I'll be releasing the payment. How much ever you check you're giving, I'll be releasing the payment.
It's
He was
really
very
heartening
supportive.
to see
Yeah.
such a supportive
Manager was very
ecosystem.
supportive. Unfortunately, he passed away because of COVID.
Oh my God, okay.
Oh, that's sad.
Sorry to hear that, yeah.
He was very supportive.
Okay. No, we need, God bless his soul, but we need more people like them.
Even when I started my business and when I wanted to enter into corporate, I was not knowing about overdraft, cash credit, all these things. My bank manager teaches me all these things.
Okay.
This is how you'll be getting. I was asking, what is OD, sir? Then he was telling me this overdraft, then I'll be giving you the
Wow.
limit. Then if you have the money, you have confidence in approaching the corporate
Correct.
customers. So he had taught me all these things.
Wonderful.
So from the day one of my business till now, I am with the same bankers.
Wonderful, yeah. So
Know
one,
them.
one interesting learning is for all of you, go find a helpful bank manager
Yeah, definitely.
who will teach you how to deal with cash, how to apply for an OD, right? And I'm sure there are lots of people out there. Somehow it's heartening to hear your story because somehow the narrative seems to be, banks are very hard to
Yes, yes,
connect to, they don't give loans, which is not necessarily the case.
True.
There are always exceptions, and hopefully these exceptions will become the rule.
Yeah, within a week's time, my overdraft limit was sanctioned.
Wow, fantastic. Wonderful. And Dr. Vasudha, how was your journey? Because for you, your investments, as you mentioned, into your business.
Right. Yeah, big investments, but yes, I think the centers in Bangalore, they're all daycare clinics.
Okay.
So I think March 23rd of last year was the last day, for closure. So we
Yeah.
tried to pull in until there was a complete lockdown.
Get as
Because-
many patients in as
Yeah,
possible.
because patients were also like, I want to finish this, I want to finish that. They know, everybody knew that something is not going to be available for a while. But yes, we had to, kind of succumb to what was the need of the hour. And being in the field and understanding medicine, we have to comply with the regulations made by the government. So we slowly tried understanding what is that we do to stay floating, not that we get sucked away and then we are drowned.
Correct.
So that was very, very crucial because being service sector, we had to deliver everything at our clinics. And when the clinics are not there, what am I
Yeah.
supposed to do is a big, big question.
Yeah.
So because till then we probably used to do some online consultations, that's telemedicine, but it wasn't so rampantly there, in and out. So we quickly, sat together to say what are we going to do. And about 15-20 days is when the clinic was completely shut. Slowly we opened it because we had staff staying with us as well. So very good team support, during
Yeah.
that time. And we started doing the online consultation, quickly got onto a third-party online professional platform for telemedicine, started our online consultation. So people used to come to the clinic to pick up the medicines because
Got it.
that was allowed.
Yes.
And then outside Bangalore, of course, it wasn't possible. So locally, wherever they could procure, they were doing it. And then we also came up with do-it-yourself kits. So if somebody has a pain, say in the knee, we give them an Ayurveda poultice, which they can apply. So they would also pick that up with the medication.
Got it.
Then we tried doing some courses, workshops, because doctors were also available. So each one of us at least would do about 2 to 3 workshops. So this is how we tried defining a totally different role, which was completely on the online model. And in about 2 months, then the clinics we were visiting maybe twice a week. Then I made it thrice a week. So slowly, from October, maybe September, October, we were there full on. That's where we started picking up once again. So we closed very well at March, but once again now it's a
Now
different
we know,
scenario.
yeah.
So but still we are definitely better prepared than we were a year back. So the transition, as we are saying, living in the present becomes essential, and not losing out becomes very crucial.
Correct.
So during this process, whatever we were able to manage cash flows, but we had to pump in some money because all the staff were available,
Correct.
and then we need to pay them. But somehow managed, but still, continuing to manage.
Yeah.
So that's how it is.
Wow. Now, the only mantra that I can think about is Lage Raho, right? Be at it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Long ago when I had started off Meritrack almost 20 years ago, we faced a similar situation during 9/11,
Right.
right? We, overnight, all business stopped, and we were youngsters out of college, and no money in the bank, but we had about 3 lakhs of expense a month, and none of us had more than 50,000 limits on our credit cards, right? I remember one day saying, next day, tomorrow, we're going to shut down the business. That's it. There's nothing else because we're going to run out of money.
Yes.
And walking around MG Road, nothing to do that previous day, no business, nothing. I saw a beautiful poster in one of those bookshops. I think it was Higginbotham Bands or something like that, which said that when you give up, you never realize how close you are to success. Something triggered to say, you know what, we've struggled for 1.5 years.
But
How can we survive? So we kind of got together a plan, got 15 people of our employees together and said, hey, tomorrow are you ready to work without any salaries? We'll pay when able. All 15 put their hands up and say, yes, we will do it. Right? And that sparked the revival.
Yeah.
So I shudder to think, what if that day I had taken the call saying, chhod do yaar,
Yeah.
right?
Correct.
I'm sure that thought would have come in our minds many times, right? I'm sure that would not been an easy call
Absolutely.
to say shut down all stores,
Yeah.
no business from tomorrow, stocks lying around.
Yeah. It was extremely hard.
It's very painful, right?
Yeah. I just feel blessed that I yet continued.
Exactly.
And I think that piece of advice: just go to office, bet home.
Yeah.
You
something
you
will
have
something will happen.
Yes, just go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
No,
that is.
you know, at a slightly spiritual level, there's this thought that says that if you wish for something with all your heart, the
Yeah.
universe will make it happen,
Absolutely.
right? So I think it comes back to that spirit within.
Yeah.
To say करने का ही है यार, छोड़ने का नहीं है.
It's do or die.
Yeah,
Yeah.
do or die, and the failure is not an option.
Yeah.
And I think that's from the outside, it all looks very glamorous,
Yes.
right? But when you're sitting there and when you're staring at 20 lakhs of stock and figuring out
What to do?
what to
What
do,
to
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's a scary feeling.
It's a very dark space.
Yeah.
And that's where the entrepreneurship as a journey is extremely dark and alone,
Exactly.
which something that I think all of us
Yeah,
have gone
yeah,
through.
exactly.
It's very dark.
So, yeah, on that note, Shruti, let's shift over to the cohort.
yeah.
You know, one of our ideas of the cohort was, of course, to kind of figure out what we can do to spur growth, but also to create that sense of camaraderie and that getting together of people.
Yeah.
You know, the moment you hear her story, then you realize I'm not alone.
Yes.
In fact, we had
Absolutely.
we had done through TiE Bangalore several years ago a program for South Asian youth entrepreneurs. We had this girl who had come down from Nepal. She was the only delegate from Nepal, and she came. And at that point of time, she was running Nepal's only fashion magazine for girls.
Oh, wow.
And she said, every person I met told me you're mad. You can't do this. And she came and said, oh, I'm so happy to meet another 50 other mad people. I thought I was the only one who was mad.
True.
Correct. No, that's essential.
Yeah.
You feel very motivated. You
Yeah.
feel there's a lot of support.
Positive vibes
Exactly.
also will
Yeah.
come.
Exactly. So how has been the journey of the last few months as a part of the cohort?
So the earlier me was always working in isolation.
Okay.
I knew where I was going. I thought I don't need it. I don't like networking. I do not want to meet people. I know what I have to do, and I was very sorted in my head.
Uh,
And during the darkest times of COVID, you realize you are so alone.
yeah.
You do not know what to do. It was a blank slate. I did not even know how the next month is going to be.
Hmm.
And with this whole program, I think there's been a radical shift in terms of my frame of mind.
Okay.
I'm so much now looking at building this
Hmm.
rather than just sulking over what happened to me.
Hmm.
You know, over crying that, oh, I had to shut my stores. Over that whole story, I shut it. Now it's like, okay, that happened over here.
Correct.
Now let's go to
Build for the future,
You build
yeah.
for the future, and probably 4 years down the line, I'll be thankful for this whole
Mm,
thing.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The whole shift happened to me only because of the cohort.
Wonderful.
I think the way I look at life now is so different,
Hmm.
and I have this amazing group of people.
Yeah.
Just yesterday, I picked up the phone and spoke to one of them, and I was just chatting with them, and I was ranting some part of it which I don't like. There's somebody that you can talk to.
Exactly.
I never had this earlier.
Hmm.
And I think the sessions that they've been organizing for us is so brilliant.
Hmm.
Connecting back to why you started this.
Mm.
What was your motivation? It is never a number which motivates you to
Correct,
start a business.
correct.
It's just a feeling what you're trying to achieve.
Yeah.
And just reconnecting with that feeling, somewhere it had got lost in my world. It just has been so amazing. I'm so grateful. I mean, I keep telling everybody about it that you should be a part of a cohort like this, and I'm totally grateful. for
Wonderful.
it.
No, and I'm so glad to hear because this is music to our ears. Our hypothesis of setting up the cohort was almost this, that it's just not about teaching people about what is customers. Of course, those are important. But it's about putting a bunch of people who inspire each other, who motivate each
Yes.
other, who
Yeah.
can learn from one another.
Yeah. Earlier, many times I wouldn't know what to do. I had too much free time in this last year. Today, I have a packed schedule every day, and I'm so motivated about
Yeah.
the packed schedule, you know. I mean, we have Supriya from the team who keeps writing, okay, you have to do this. I'm like, oh wow, I love this life, you know, when you have to do 10 things, yet manage, it's beautiful.
Excellent.
It works for me
Yeah.
beautifully.
How's it been for you, Rohini?
For me, the approach itself changed.
Uh,
I could say that it has brought about my new version of myself.
okay.
Example, before coming into this stream of cohort, I was approaching the customer. I'll go with the samples, I'll explain them, and then I'll do the sampling, and he'll call for some other day. All that is how the process was going. After I come back, my approach towards the customer for the sale and also for the payment collection was changed. And the next thing I could say that after coming into the stream of through these co-learners, yesterday she called me for the packaging of her product. Then I had called my supplier of my machine supplier, and I was telling him he sits at Dubai. I was telling this is the market now, and he was telling, okay, I'll give you a new machine, you could try with that. So my vision itself is changed.
Wonderful.
And it's not exaggeration actually.
Lovely.
Other co-learner, she called me for the packing of spice powders. Then I was telling my husband, then why don't we go like this EcoCraft to change into a one-stop solution for packing.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Excellent.
So that's what I was
So
telling.
you're able to visualize the business at the next level.
And the main thing is, it has brought myself into a new vision. With a new version of myself,
Wow.
it's come.
Your earlier version itself was so much of a go-getter. I can't just wait to see the new version of yourself unleashed in the
Yeah,
market.
now I just taking the business into a different level.
Wonderful. Yeah.
If
Lovely.
everything goes well.
Everything will go well.
Go well.
Yes.
I don't think that going well has any choice because you are at it. And Vasudha, how's it been for you?
So yes, game has definitely kind of changed the game as well in business. So basically, though we were structured, the structured learning was never there for me because I come from a medical background. So I was always looking forward for something like this, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, because it's very essential we go that way. And that has really helped. Networking has helped. And as they were saying, we understand each other's pain points. We also share each other's joy. So both ways. And then it has, for me, led to a lot of networking. So I was also immersed into the day-to-day activities, be it administration, be it technical, being a clinician as well, because I play both the roles. So I was already packed, but I am continuing to be that way. But I have my own structure for the day, so which allows me to perform better. So networking, when I say, it has really, really added a lot at that front, because I have a problem, I can approach somebody, especially those who are mentoring.
Correct.
So it could be Supriya, it could be Mr. Srinivas Rao. So so like this, I've really found that support, and just to say that okay, I can still strive on this path, and then say what am I in the next 6 months, 1 year is based on what I'm going to do.
Correct.
I'm not trying to think what I'm going to be, but I'm trying to do whatever best I can. And I've made a couple of business pitch, elevator pitch presentations the last 1.5 years. So the latest one was where I got little support, good support from Game. So I think I did well, and we also therefore won that the prize, the award there. So these are building the confidence in the business model which we have developed, because in the initial phase of this presentations, I've heard many saying no, health is not something people will invest. So I was like, if you're talking this way, then every man needs health, every man needs
Correct.
medicine. So why are you trying to invest only in one segment of medicine, only in technology? So why not this? So somewhere this affirmation came in that no, this is somewhere people with the relative similar mindset would look at investment. So look can help you grow. So that is what is taking me ahead. So that's where it has largely contributed.
Terrific. So each one of you are taking away multiple things, right? And the beauty of the design, in a way, that we envisaged was that you can pick and choose the way that you want to be in the cohort, right? For example,
correct.
we also at one point of time envisaged that can enough business be generated within the cohort itself for everybody? I'm sure all the 23 others will be popsicle customers of yours, and that 23 multiplied maybe 100x. Right? Similarly, you're talking about, you're trying to do packaging for her, packaging for spices, so on and so forth, right?
Yeah, definitely submitting the credit to game.
No, I mean, credit, cash, it doesn't matter. For us, it's all about this journey, right? I think at a larger level, it's abysmal the rate of entrepreneurs who are growing. And it's even more abysmal, the women entrepreneurs. And I'm very glad that in this 45 minutes of conversation, the women world has come out for the first time.
Oh, yes.
None of us talked about it,
Yes.
right? And that's the beauty. I don't believe that the world out there should care whether you're a man or a woman.
Absolutely.
You're an
Yeah,
entrepreneur,
correct.
Absolutely.
Agree.
right?
Yes.
I was doing a conversation with my son, and he did a video on gender equality. So he asked me a question saying, if all the good things also have to happen to girls, they should also be ready to take the bad things. I said, what? In a class, when some noise happens, the teacher makes only the boys stand up. Why should the girls stand up? I said, fair point. Everybody should stand up, right? So I think the other powerful message that is coming out from each one of you there is, don't let the prejudices and the pressures of the society get you because you're a woman entrepreneur,
Absolutely.
right? You are an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Yes.
Entrepreneur is an entrepreneur.
Entrepreneur is an entrepreneur. You got to do what it takes
Yeah, and
and play the game.
Yes.
Right? So hats off to each one of you
Thank
for
you.
your journeys, and I do hope that someday I will be able to say, listen, you remember Shruti, Rohini and Vasudha, they're fantastic entrepreneurs. You are fantastic entrepreneurs today, but you'll be world-renowned entrepreneurs
Thank you.
then.
God willing.
And
Yes.
I should be able to say with pride that, listen, I had this conversation with three of them. So wish you more power,
Thank
and
you so
hope
much.
you
so
continue
much.
to inspire thousands of our viewers to get on this journey. And as Swami Vivekananda says, awake, arise, and stop not till the goal is reached. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much.
Lovely
you.
chat.
Absolutely.